All right, we are back. This is episode 15 of PuckPod by BD Sports, our premier hockey podcast. I'm here with Christian, David. Christian, how was your week?
Yo, straight up a nightmare week. Like, I'm not even kidding. Last episode, I had the sniffles. I was blowing my nose every couple minutes. I had to get the fluids going. That was probably my best day, in terms of how I was feeling, until maybe like Monday or Tuesday this week. So I went a solid 7, 8 days just in the gutter with this freaking flu. It was rough. Um, and like in that time, there was lots of hockey on. I watched a ton of hockey, and yet I've forgotten like half the details. Like I couldn't tell you who scored in the Leafs Arizona game, the Colorado game. I was at the Leafs St. Louis game, and even that one, maybe because I was drunk, but also sick. I barely remember half the things. So kind of nightmare week. Starting to feel better, and when you just get over like the cold or the flu, and you can start breathing again, your ears unplug. It's like you found new life. You're like, oh my god, I know how to breathe again. So I'm at that point. It's like I'm excited to just not be on the couch all day. That's where I'm at now. So kind of nightmare week, but we're coming out of it.
Dave?
I had a pretty good week. I'll be like honest. I had like not the opposite to Christian because like I know what you were going through. I went through that exact same thing, but for me it was during the World Cup, so I was just like
Yeah.
watching World Cup matches like all the time. So I know like what you've been going through, and what a tough time to get sick, Christian, dude. Like right at
Dude,
like
it's
that New
tough.
Year's. Oh, that's so
I was
tough,
home for
dude.
New Year's, man. I literally
That's
locked
so.
myself in my room, man.
Oh, that
But
sucks.
hey,
What are you gonna do?
what can you do?
Hey, you
What
know what?
literally,
It happens, right?
it
Yeah,
happens.
I had a pretty good time. I don't think anybody said it. I guess Happy New Year's to anybody
Dave
who's
always remembers the
watching.
good stuff.
Yeah,
He's the
yeah,
polite guy here.
yeah. Happy New Year's. I believe, yeah, this is our first episode of 2023. We got brand new things coming up on the way. Bigger and better things for 2023. 2022 was just the preview. 2023 is the movie. So, I had a
I
pretty
don't know
good
if that's
week,
the right
Bry.
line to use, Dave. I don't know, man.
Uh,
It's okay.
So I had a
We'll
Well,
pretty
make
good
it
week.
better now.
you know what?
I don't know. I'm just trying to make up for some time
We're not
here.
even one fiscal year since making the site yet. If you think of it like
That's true.
that, and even even for the show, it's only been like this is episode
4
15, so it's
months.
only been like what, like
Like 4 months.
3 4 months? Yeah,
2, 3
Almost 4
months.
months.
Yeah,
yeah, three four
almost four
months.
months. Okay,
So
wow.
time's flying by. I feel old. My week was good, and nothing really special happened this week.
Brian, you
Just
do anything for New Year's?
yeah. I worked till 10, and I went to a small party
Mm.
get together thing that Christian was supposed to go to, but obviously Christian has Ebola V2, so
Okay, all right. Oh my god.
That
Oh
was the
god.
first one you went with. This
so
guy
Jeez,
just straight
man.
up said Christian has monkeypox. He wasn't able to come. I'm like,
Oh
what?
my god. I'm playing a hockey game tonight. Actually, I don't know if I told Dave this. So, Dave, I've never been to a Marlies game, and
Oh yeah.
yet tonight I'm playing at Coca-Cola Coliseum. Like I am
Oh,
the
that's
one
sick.
skating. I don't. This is gonna be hilarious. I don't know how many people are seated in that arena. Like how many seats it has. Maybe like I don't know 6, 7,000 if I had to guess. I honestly
It's definitely
don't
bigger
know.
than like the Coyotes, so 100%. So over five,
Yeah. Okay.
100%.
So 5,000 seats. I'll set the over under of seats that are filled tonight at like 15. So it's gonna be funny. It's gonna be really
1,500?
funny. No,
15
like
people.
15 people.
I was gonna say, holy smokes! How many friends and family do you guys have?
Dear God, I'm not Sean Dursey. I'm not bringing 250 friends and family to the game. But
Uh,
yeah, I'm excited for this. It's my flu game too. So I gotta pull out an MJ performance here. Uh,
the comeback season.
I'm coming off of
Patrick
the
3 points.
IR.
You're
Oh
putting up
yeah.
Connor Bedard numbers tonight.
Oh boy.
All right.
Oh man.
Speaking
Is that
speaking
where
of
we
that
want
guy,
to start?
yeah, that's where
That's
we're
a
gonna start.
solid segue, Dave. Solid segue, my friend.
Speaking of that guy, have you guys heard of him? He's pretty good. He's playing in the final
Probably
of
the
the World
best
Juniors.
Connor since the last Connor that we got this hyped about, right? So,
Oh, 2 Connors ago. McMichael.
Oh,
oh boy,
that's crazy.
oh boy.
That's crazy because that wasn't even like the third name that popped into my mind.
Kyle
Oh,
Connor, like,
funny.
does he count or no?
Yeah.
He does. Okay, okay.
Did you say? Were you gonna
There's
say
a Kenny Connors on the US,
I
right?
was gonna say
Connor
Connor Timmins,
Timmins.
bro.
Oh, I knew you were
Oh
gonna say that.
no!
Yeah.
Hey, listen, man. 8 points in I think 13 games. Put some respect on the name of Connor
On
Timmins.
Timbits, baby.
I will not right now
Timmins.
because let's do World Juniors quickly.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. So Canada, Czechia, final. Um, Last time they played, it feels like what, like 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago.
Feels like a while
Dude, it
ago.
was
Feels like
Boxing
Canada
Day
played
though.
yeah, it was Boxing Day. You're right.
Wow.
Yeah, that feels like forever ago.
They
Yeah,
lost.
like what was
Canada
it,
lost.
5-2?
Canada lost 5-2.
5-2.
It was
Yeah.
the Michigan game.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So we did our episode right after that, or the day
That was our
after
last
that game.
episode too.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So
Wow.
since then, they're undefeated, Canada. But I also think the Czechs are. I don't think they ever lost a game. I've been really impressed with the Czechs, but yeah, Canada got here by way of beating the US in the semis. The classic rivalry there. Brian, we
Tough
know that
game.
your allegiances lie elsewhere.
Yes.
Give us a little bit of your thoughts on the American side.
Uh, One, Logan Cooley, absolute stud. Um,
Pretty good.
I don't want to be that guy. But like two disallowed goals. Come on. The one that really I don't okay, sorry, I don't want to be that guy. The one that really like triggered me was the Blake goal, the goaltender interference. I get it. The
Yeah.
YHF has a lot softer goaltender interference rules, but come on, these guys are trained and developed to play at an NHL level. But like that was not an NHL call, if that makes sense. That was really soft. The goalie, who was it? Was it Milicic? He wasn't
Village.
Milic. Yeah, he wasn't saving it regardless of what happens. And yeah, I guess he nudged him a little bit, barely. He made contact. I guess that was the main point that you guys can argue, but that's not goaltender interference. And if that happens in the playoffs, I bet you there's riots.
I get it. I'd say that was, yeah, like 50-50 call. I think that's what Dave was saying as well. The other one,
50-50? No, man.
yeah,
Oh, it's borderline.
so
So
yeah,
okay,
like
wait,
you
hold
can
on,
make the
Brian.
call either way.
So I don't know. Were you watching the TSN feed?
I was, yes.
Okay, so Bob McKenzie went in, like he explained. So even on the TSN
No, I heard.
feed,
Yeah.
a lot of the commentators, like I know Jeff O'Neill was going off about like that he thought it should have been a goal, which like fair enough, but like so Bob McKenzie explained it like how the rule reads. So like he was in the crease, right?
Yes.
The puck came out of the crease, and because his like backwards force with his behind made contact with Milic, especially as Milic was sliding over. Like I know you said like he had no chance to save it, but like dude, like all he needed to do was like he needed that one extra inch to close up like the gap between his skate and the post. And who knows, like that's where like that gray area comes in, where it's like who knows, he actually might have had a chance to get there if there was nobody in the crease.
And
But you can also like definitively say like yeah, he would have stopped it either, right? Like there's a real gray area there, and
I
I
get
think
it.
that's where you guys have a bone of contention.
I get it, but like these guys are developed to play at an NHL level. It's like the national team is one thing, and it's amazing the program that they have. But the reason that like the program is there to begin with is to develop them to play in the NHL. That's the main point I'm making. And if that's in the NHL, that's not goaltender interference. I can guarantee you that.
I don't know actually. Like
No, man, come on.
I've seen weaker plays get called back.
If that's the
NHL
playoffs,
officiating is way less consistent than double IHF. Like at least we can say that the double IHF, they have a precedence, they stick to it. In the NHL, it could be a soft call one day, it could be
It's just
a goal that you think is guaranteed goaltender interference, like it's called the other way.
I will also say this: Jackson Blake, yes, I get it. That was a turning point that ended up leading to the collapse of the team and shifted momentum completely. But But Jackson Blake, he fought hard that game, and just even throwing yourself in the crease for that goal shows promise in the NHL. I also just wanted to say as well, he is a Carolina Hurricanes prospect. If he's playing with
Of
that much
course.
passion, that much speed, and just fight, that's a Carolina player if I've ever seen one, and I'm kind of scared for the upcoming years. So
They
also,
draft so well, man.
they do.
Hurricanes draft so well.
He plays a lot like his dad. Like his dad was the exact same way. Like played with like his heart on his sleeve. Like you know what I mean? So it's like father like son. And his dad was a pretty successful NHL player in his own regard, but like his son might overcome that. Like he might surpass like whatever expectations we had for him already. Like he looks like a legitimate star. But for the US, man, holy smokes, you guys gave up some weak goals. Like not weak goals, but like you guys were very weak
The
on the back check.
the fundamentals.
I know, like
The fundamentals weren't there. They didn't want to defend in front of their net, and they didn't want to attack the net after the TSN turning point happened. Trademark. When you give up the front of the net, obviously you can expect to collapse defensively in front of your own goal. But if you're not attacking the net, I don't blame them either. After what happened, the precedent was set from that point on of that of the disallowed goal. And I can't really justify the loss. I mean, I'm not gonna make excuses. The game's over. It's done now. But at the end of the day, we're up to nothing, right? And they blew the lead. And I don't know. You guys just played better, I guess. Once the momentum shifted, you guys just played better, and the score tally showed it. There was a point where we did outplay you guys. I mean, 45 shots for a reason, right? But for the majority of the game, I can say
you were
I would
caving us
say
in the
within
first 10 minutes.
10 minutes, like, dude, you guys had like your foot, like sorry, the US had their foot on Canada's throat. There was like that. There was one stretch, I think it was after 1-0, where Canada didn't even get a smell of the puck. Like not even a touch. They couldn't even smell the puck. The puck would go right by them. It was like it was going in like fast forward, like you know what I mean? Like they didn't even see like where the puck was going. Like they looked so out of sorts. I don't know what it was. Also helps that they were playing in front of a home crowd, and like you could really tell
that mattered. Yeah,
they fed off that Halifax crowd immensely, especially especially in that second period where that collapse happened. They just needed to grow into the game, but man, the US could have really poured on the pressure. I would say in that first period, they're like letting Connor Bedard score that. I wouldn't say like weak, but like
it was weak. We didn't defend the front of the net. That's fundamentally what it was.
That's not Bedard's game. Like
No.
if you're letting Bedard score there, it's not necessarily because he's this generational guy. It's because it's a structural problem there. Yeah.
So, and I think that's the beginning of the turning point. Like that weak and complacency in front of your net caused that capitulation to happen, basically, right? That first period was completely dominated by the US, and that's the turning point right there. Like you guys let Canada come back into the game with weak defending, and especially you're letting potentially one of the greatest. We could be looking at one of the greatest ever hockey players in terms of like his future projections in Connor Bedard. Like right now for him, sky is the limit.
I honestly don't remember this much hype for McDavid. That's where I'm at, right?
Yeah,
like that's where I'm at.
If you remember his World Juniors, he had a pretty he had a good juniors, but it wasn't
like 16 or 17 points in his tournament. But like,
it was a good tournament, very respectable tournament by all regards. But it wasn't to this level. Like Connor Bedard was putting Canada on his back for large parts of this entire tournament. Not even just last night against the States.
Last night was probably the best team effort that we've seen from Canada.
Yeah.
Like it was, you can't say that it was just Bedard there. It was the Team Canada show, not just.
I don't even want to say that we were outplayed though. Fundamentally, maybe I feel like we just beat ourselves in a sense. Like
I think that's a good point. Like you guys, I don't think we saw US's game, right? Like we didn't see what it is that you guys are trying to execute half the time.
We got a taste of it.
Yeah,
That's what we did.
Yeah,
like that,
yes,
that
no,
that
we
was
saw it
first
early
10
on.
minutes. Yeah, it was just
Yeah,
like in spurts, basically, right?
yeah,
At the end of the day, like it's the game's over, and like I said, I can't make excuses for the situation. Like we lost 6-2. Fundamentally, that's what it's going to show.
yeah.
But I don't know. Defensively, the team just collapsed, and that's another. There's one more point I just want to make before we go into Bedard. This is a young team, very young team, right? They're all. It's a junior tournament, and it's hard to have veterans per se on a junior team, especially when it's a situation when the team itself is young and everybody's not really experienced, right? But this is when you can take the opportunity to blossom and show off your leadership skills. And we didn't see that. And I find
Do you
that
have any specific thoughts on like the captain Luke Hughes? Like, you have any? Just not
that's
even specific to the Canada US game, just
that's
in general the tournament.
that's where I was going. And I think Luke Hughes had a good tournament up until that last game, but sometimes he got exposed. And
Yeah,
as a captain, you shouldn't get stripped off the puck in the neutral zone, especially when like you're the number one D man, you're the captain, and when you're fundamentally one of the best or better skaters on the team, and that's your breakout entry point guy. I don't know
he's
who it
supposed to be a
was.
one-man breakout. Yeah, like
Yes,
at the end of the game there, when we scored our empty netter, it was because Luke Hughes fumbled the puck, like you said, in the neutral zone. Like he was just skating up the ice with the puck, and I think he kind
He
of
got
got
too
caught in
cute.
his head between. He got a little cute, yeah, because he was saying, "Do I take this up myself or do I make the drop pass?" And in that time that he hesitated, puck was off his stick. It was gone.
but this
I agree. Like, he's a workhorse, and even outside the Canada game, like, this guy's gonna be really damn good. But yeah, it was a little bit of a speed bubble in the U.S. Canada game for him.
this is the last point I want to make for this because like I don't know, I'm not shell shocked, but I'm just looking back at it. I just now that I think about it, I'm not too happy with the situation. But this is a for Luke Hughes specifically, this is a turning point, right? He can take that moment and say, okay, this is what happened at the junior level. I will never let this happen again. I'm gonna fix it. And I'm gonna let this grow because that's gonna be on TV for like the next I don't know 6 months, right? That's gonna be something he remembers, or it's gonna be a situation where we can see that it becomes a bad habit or something that he's unable to grow from, and these are the moments that make or break a player. And fingers crossed, he's able to figure it out. I mean, think about how many times Quinton's done that, right? The exact same thing,
Oh yeah,
fumbling the puck in
yeah.
the neutral zone entry, and but I don't know. Maybe Luke can figure it out, but at the end of the day, that's the game's over, and we'll move on to Bedard. I'm done
Well,
sulking.
sorry, like he definitely has the tools to
Yeah,
bring
Yeah,
him forward, right? Like that's not up for debate, right? It's just like that mentality that we always talk about. It's not just like uh on defense, but it's like up and down the lineup. As if you have that mentality, um, it gets you a lot farther than having the raw talent alone. Like you could have as much raw talent in the world, but if you don't have that like workhorse mentality and also that strong mentality to kind of like
it's like
to
a clutch
quote Ted
factor
Lasso
thing.
here,
You can't.
the memory of a goldfish, right? You have to have like a 5 second memory, like short-term memory loss, whatever you want to call it. Let it roll off of you. You had a very, very poor. That was probably Luke Hughes's. I watched like I think 3 U.S.
This is the
games.
first game.
Easily his worst, and it's his worst game by a substantial margin. So if he's closer to the other two performances for the rest of his career, he's going to be a fantastic hockey player. But like, listen, games like this will always happen. He just needs to learn now to deal with it, move on, and move forward. Basically,
Yeah, yeah, that's a fair point. But moving to you guys, we'll move into your superstar that you guys have over there, Connor Bedard. He is definitely going number one this NHL draft. Yeah, I think that's a fair statement. But how do you guys feel about him in the NHL next season? What do you guys think so far, based on World Juniors performance?
I'm legitimately trying to think. Like, let's brainstorm here. How many guys in the NHL currently would you say have better vision? Like, I know his shot is supposed to be his signature, but his vision is absurd, boys. Like, how many guys in the
dude,
NHL have better vision than Connor Bedard right now?
that pass to Joshua Roy for like listen, already
Big's
biased
partial
Joshua
now.
Roy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Big fan after this tournament. But holy smokes, like, and it wasn't just like that. Like there was other chances where what
There
was
was
the
one to
one? I
Brendan
think you sent
Osman.
yeah,
It was,
you
yeah.
sent it
So
in the
Brendan
chat. You're
Osman's in
like,
the slot. Yeah. And like literally, even I was surprised by it. Brendan Osman, the literal hockey player on the ice, was surprised by the pass, and he bobbled the puck off
and he
his sticks.
bobbled it.
Like, where did this come from?
It came through
Like,
like 4 pairs of skates.
yeah, he was in the corner, and
Yeah,
he is so deceptive. Like, he can contort his body in any damn position and pass the puck wherever. Like, the with any player in almost any sport, you can, if you're a goalie specifically, you look at the player in front of you and you say, okay, based on this guy's body positioning or his body language, I'm gonna guess he's shooting here. I'm gonna guess he's passing. You can't do any of that with Bedard. He'll look like he's making a pass and it's a shot, vice versa. It's incredible, honestly. Like, even like McDavid can do that, and they do have that in common. Where, especially McDavid, he'll have the stick. His stick is basically beside his feet, and he can make a laser pass. That's not something a lot of players can do. Bedard can do that, and honestly, straight up, outside of McDavid, I can't give you a concrete answer for someone who has that type of vision. Like, once again, even with Marner, he'll give you a telltale sign with his stick. He'll stretch out his hands. He'll be on the backhand. Like, you can sort of see something developing in his mind. I don't know what the hell Bedard's thinking half the time. I don't. And I think that's the biggest compliment I can give this guy.
yeah, no, 100%. It's that deceptiveness that I think makes him stand out for like other players. Like if you are in that top percentile of hockey of players who are able to like to put stuff like that together, there is no doubt in my mind that your ceiling is higher than whatever we even placed on you. Like
Yeah.
I know right now it's like, oh, but is he gonna be as good as McDavid? Like
He's not
after
the same player. Like, yeah, they're different players.
no, but this is what I'm like. The point I'm gonna make is like,
Yeah.
what if he's better? Like, there's always that opportunity. There's always that chance that he legitimately
Yeah.
might be better than McDavid. I know people don't want to admit it after a quick, like, this is a junior tournament, and I don't want to place labels on him, but there is a very, very good opportunity from what we saw this tourney that Connor Bedard might be the better Connor. Like it. I don't know if it's like how is that if it's sacrilegious to say because Connor McDavid's now become the sport of hockey, right, over the past 5 to 6, 7 years. But
Yeah.
Connor Bedard might be better. That's what I legitimately think that in my mind. Like there's that opportunity that he takes the steps. I think the only the one, I don't even know how to say it. Like, I don't even know how to put this into words, but Connor McDavid's breakneck speed might be much like that. That's his like bread and butter is that he's just able to lose a player within like the matter of milliseconds. Like, I don't even know how to describe it, but yeah, so Bedard's
something.
maybe not. He does have that
McDavid's
extra
just
something.
Yeah, McDavid's just it's the straight line speed specifically. Like he's got insane edges too. But I'd say that Bedard, like he's close just on his edge
nimble.
work.
Yeah, you might already
Very
be
nimble.
there.
Very nimble. And specifically, so many times we've seen Bedard receive a breakaway pass, and like he's skating backwards for 2 seconds, and he's still able to keep the puck at top speed. Like there's not players that can do that. And the other thing that you could say Bedard has over McDavid is the shot. The shot is that much better. So for whatever advantage McDavid has in straight line speed, and we should also mention size, but Bedard does have that slightly more nimble edge work. There is sometimes an advantage to being smaller. He might make you more evasive, right? And that shot is top end stuff. And just on like talking about like, okay, where could Bedard fall short? Like what we're seeing right now, like his game is going to have to adapt to the NHL in terms of like you can tell he's thinking offense at this tournament, and for good reason. He's kind of floaty defensively, But I have no concerns that he's going to be like a hog in the NHL or someone who can't defend, because you look at the way he turns over pucks in the O zone. If he can just redirect that same focus on defense, he'll be doing that defensively as well. I think immediately I think of Jack Hughes in that respect. Jack Hughes' first 1 or 2 seasons, like same thing. Offensively, he's creative, but defensively he was a little weak. Now, like this season, he's been fantastic defensively. He turns over the pucks. We see it with Austin Matthews. Like I have no worries about Bedard being able to do the same thing defensively. And when he's got that going as well, he's instantly just like a top 10 player in the NHL. So we might not see a rookie season, but I'd say sophomore season, we're talking Bedard, like he's up there. It's crazy to think about.
With smaller players, I feel like you got to give them a year or two just to hone their. They have to learn how to defend. They have to learn how to adjust to the game, because obviously they don't have they don't have the frame, they don't have the size yet, right? But once they learn, once they adjust, you see it with Jack Hughes. That's a primary example, right? And another thing I just want to mention with Bedard, he has that aura around him, right? When he's on the ice, he's the guy you're watching. He's like,
oh yeah.
And I don't want to. It doesn't. It's not that it takes away from other players, but he's definitely a selling point for. And what I'm trying to say is like, whoever gets him in the draft is going to be lucky, and they're going to sell a lot of shirts, because that's the superstar in the making, essentially, right? And I think it's 100%. Fair to say, and I think it's fair to say that he is probably already a generational player before even stepping into the league. I wouldn't be surprised if he is breaking records, kind of like how McDavid is. To say that he will be better or could be better, will be better is, I think, sacrilegious as of right now, because we haven't seen it. But could be better, I think, is even a possibility, genuinely, just based off what we've seen so far. And it's going to be interesting how his rookie season is in the NHL this season. Well, next season. Because I think 1,000% he gets on any team. He gets drafted to do this, that, whatever. But no, like, I just don't remember the last time that a rookie's had this much hype, especially at a World Juniors tournament. Like, he's literally bringing in the casual eyes to the World Juniors tournament. And yeah, I guess we'll see.
I think the last time was probably McDavid. That's one player was able to bring eyes like that to the tournament, because it was leading up to that tournament for a year or two before. It was,
we knew who he was.
This is going to be the Connor McDavid show. Was going to be like, set your calendars to this for this tournament. It's going to be a real good show.
Where do you guys want to see him?
Okay, so where do I want to see him, or where is he going to go? Because I do actually have an opinion of where he's going. Okay, I want to see him in Anaheim, because you put him, Zegras, Troy Terry. Oh my God, these guys are going to be scoring. They're going to be scoring goals that we don't even know what
Michigan
they're called
Ducks. Yet. They're relocating the team.
To Lansing, Michigan.
Yeah.
Okay, but the team. Yeah, it is. It is.
It's very realistic. Yeah, like that could totally happen.
The team that he's going to, though, is going to be the Chicago Blackhawks.
I'm going to be mad.
And you know what? And you know what it is? It's not like, okay, they're awful. Like, they're god awful. They're not at 10. I just checked the standings. They're not even at 10 wins yet, and it's 2023. So fair enough. So there's not as much tinkering or rigging that the NHL could possibly do for this one.
That happens,
but well, you never know, right? But I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say anything here.
What are you talking about?
It's helped out the Leafs a lot in recent years. But what was I going to say though? But listen, for the NHL, you want a guy like that in a big market, and unfortunately, Anaheim's not that market. Neither is Columbus. Who's down there at the bottom? I know San Jose's around there. I don't even... you know what I mean? The big markets in the NHL, they are Toronto, Montreal, who legitimately might have a chance to draft first again. So, okay, fair enough. I don't want to see it. That would literally kill me as a Leaf fan. So it's Toronto, Montreal, Boston,
Rangers.
Those original 6 teams, the Rangers. Yeah. LA is a big market because of like everything around LA. Like they're just a big city.
Yeah.
and Chicago. Like I would probably put Chicago as like the 5 team there, maybe.
Yeah.
Like
They're
so
top 5 though. They're top 5.
100%. So, recent years for Chicago, we don't have to go into like everything, but they've had a rough, I would say 4 or 5
It's
years
just
after
they suck.
they do suck. They've also had off ice problems that I don't want to
Yes.
get into as well. There's just so many things going wrong for Chicago right now that they need to have a couple of rights, and the NHL should be doing anything in their power to send a player like that to one of their big markets. And I don't think it's not that like we could just sit here and say like, oh, they would never do that, because it's like bullshit. They definitely have before, and they definitely will again. Like this is their league. This is how they want to make money. Like you could go back in time to see like all like I don't even know how to like to put this into words. Like my brain's not even. I got so many thoughts
Honestly,
going on
just
in
go to
my
the
head right
Crosby
now,
one. The
dude.
Crosby lottery, man. Like, what are the
Yeah,
odds? Think about that. Every team had equal odds. What are the
mm,
chances that the team that's facing bankruptcy
mm,
gets the guy,
yep.
right?
Yeah, what are the chances? What are the chances that one of the most hyped US prospects in years with the release of 40 NHLers, okay, granted the year that the Leafs won they finished dead last. I think there's more
Yes.
egregious. I think the most egregious like draft lottery win was probably the Rangers when they won the
Laugh.
Lafreniere. Didn't they have like the 6th best odds or 7th best odds to win them?
Yeah, that was the one that I was saying. Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
You
no, you're
good?
good. You're good.
I'm good now.
Yep.
Yeah. In context, my Wi-Fi just decided to die yesterday during the Canada game. Incredible timing.
Didn't miss
So
much. Don't worry.
that's yeah. That's the if there's any problems, that's what it was. Yeah, that was the draft that I was saying that we were talking about. The leaf ball was like
Mm.
literally a
It was
millimeter
there.
off of
Yeah.
us getting laugh. And yeah, like not like laugh would have been like some incredible game breaker for us considering what it's done in New York. But yeah, that would have been something. I mean, for me, I always look back at that McDavid draft and the fact that the Leafs had the best odds going into the final lottery ball draw. And you look at that and you think, that's interesting. Maybe they could only rig it to a certain point, and the last ball, it's got to be real, right? They can't rig that one. I don't know.
Well,
Honestly, that's
I
a
still
little
think that one's rigged because of Gretzky, right? You put the potential
uh,
next Gretzky back in where Gretzky made his name, right? And that the storylines just write
Okay.
themselves.
We
it
can
is kind of hilarious too. Sorry, Brian, what's up?
we can play this game all day, boys.
I know.
Oh, dude,
Yeah. Like
I
no,
could
no,
do it
I
all
know.
day.
This is conspiracy stuff. Just on the point that Dave's making with Chicago. I mean, this is the team with the best dynasty run in the salary cap era, coming off of a first overall pick that led the way in Patrick Kane. So the narratives do write themselves there. If I were to make my pick, I do like the Anaheim idea. Like that's like Zegras Bedard. You cannot go wrong with that. If I had to give my quote unquote big market pick, it wouldn't be Chicago because I'm just not a fan. I don't want them in Chicago. They've had their success. Send them to Philly. I am partial to Philly. Like Philly's my metro team. Um, put him in a Philly jersey. I will say the one problem with that organization sucks right now. Like it's hard for me to even like kind of like Philly. I hate Torts. Not hate him, but like he's not my type of coach. Chuck Fletcher, I do hate. There's
Guy
no
sucks.
excuse on that one. That guy sucks as a GM. So the caveat there is like I would need the Flyers to bottom out this season, do what the Leafs did in 2014, where they just like the day after the season ended, they're like everybody's gone, all the whole scouting staff gone, Dave Notice gone, Dave Horchek fire him into the sun. Like it would have to be one of those scenarios for me to be happy that Bedard went to Philly, because the opposite end of that is they keep everyone intact. Bedard goes there and they absolutely waste him because they don't know what the hell they're doing there. Um, Anyways, that's my big market take. If I'm just going like a realistic team that's in the bottom of the standings that I wouldn't mind to see him on, It's San Jose, and a lot of this, not a lot of this, but jersey nerd here. San Jose's got the good jerseys now. Like, I'm okay with the big guy going to the team with decent jerseys. Anaheim's got these terrible jerseys that I still absolutely hate. They're the team most in need of a rebrand. Until they do that rebrand, I'm like,
just rebrand it, please.
Yeah,
please get rid of the did they still have the web duck foot?
Yeah, they do have the web
Like,
duck foot. They've got some of that weird piping going on too. Like, it's not the look.
Out of any part of a duck you could put on your jersey, you put their feet. Put their feet. Like, what are we talking about here?
They had the logo. Like, it's not like they didn't. Like, they don't have to come up with something new. Just go back to what it was. You could even do a new color scheme if you wanted to. Like, experiment with it.
That brown and orange is just
it's terrible.
Just awful.
So listen, like, yeah, I'm leaning San Jose because this is a team that I feel like they're in dire need of a superstar. Like, their prospect system it's okay. They got some up and comers. They got like Eklund, a Swedish guy he's got some decent pedigree, but they need the guy there. I kind of like San Jose as my pick. Just if I have to choose like an actual bottom feeder. Brian, what are you looking at me with like disgust? Like, what the hell is wrong with you? So hit us with some logic.
It was the Philly that kind of that kind of triggered me a little bit. Not gonna lie, I don't want to see him in the Metro. I don't want to see him in Columbus. Get him away from us.
Send him to the West.
Send him to the West, and I'm actually gonna round out. My pick was actually the last, like the bottom third Pacific team that you guys. Well, we have the first bottom team, like the last team in the Pacific, Anaheim. Second last team with Cristian being San Jose. My pick was the third last team in the division, Vancouver. Send them home. 1.
Ooh.
Okay.
Damn.
That's a good
That's a really good pick.
Vancouver's my Pacific team too. So like, hey.
Point 2 is Vancouver's been through a lot, and it's time that they have some smiles because they're gonna lose their captain this trade deadline. They also picked wrong between the two guys that they have to choose between JT Miller and Bo Horvat. They locked up one. They're setting away the other. It's gonna happen, right? In the sense that Bo Horvat's getting traded. They're gonna lose their captain this trade deadline. Let's give them something special. Let's give them a hometown kid. Let's let them start their retooling, rebuilding for the 5th time with a generational talent this time. And another thing I wanted to point out, Pettersson, Bedard playing together.
Oh, gross.
Man,
gross.
I just want to throw one more guy up there. Quentin Hughes behind them. 3-on-3.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
For no reason. No.
Too bad Brock Besser can't play with them.
Yeah, he'll be gone by then. Bedard is the best replacement guy.
Dude, Brock Besser, if he gets traded away, might literally run his head through a wall because he's like, I was on this team for 5 years now, 4 years now, and like you guys had very like minimal, not as much success as you guys should be having with guys like that on your team. And now that I'm gone, you guys are getting the generational talent after.
I know, right?
What the heck, man?
Listen, Brian, I like your point. I would straight up buy a Bedard jersey if you went to the Canucks because I love their unis, and I think we're all fans of Bedard. So yeah, like I don't hate that pick at all. If we're gonna make some parallels though, going back to the tank year Leafs or the 2014-15 year Leafs. That's what Vancouver feels like to me. Do they not? Like they're Kessel and they're Fedorov. Like they've got these guys that they're shipping out. Yeah,
they need to fire everybody into the sun. Tyler Myers, get out of here with your 27 minutes a night.
and the Leafs that year, the McDavid draft once again, they finished. I think it was 1 point ahead of Edmonton, or might have been vice versa. And that cost us McDavid. Like Leafs and Edmonton were right beside each other in the standings, and that was the difference in the lottery. I can totally see Vancouver trading guys at the deadline, starting to suck a little bit more. But because they did this wishy-washy crap at the beginning of the season, they're going to just miss out on Bedard, and then they'll win next year's lottery, like the Leafs did. So as much as I would love to see Vancouver win it, I'll stick with the parallels there, and I'll say Vancouver's going to be made to suffer just one more time. As a Canucks, not supporter, but as a guy who wants to see the Canucks succeed out of the Pacific, I'm going to give this super cynical take there.
There's one one more thing that I was gonna use it for my points, but it technically counts for all three of us. Sending this guy out west to the Pacific. Connor versus Connor. Game 1.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Come on.
Oh,
Yeah.
The stories write
Yeah,
themselves,
100%.
boys.
100%. If he goes out west to even, dude, if that's to Vegas, the NHL would be like absolutely in heaven. If you get Vancouver and Edmonton to have both like things, you make sure that Vancouver and Edmonton play opening night. Take the Leaf spot at 7 o'clock if you want. Like so 4 p.m. start out west. Do whatever you want. That's a circle down in your calendar. Must watch TSN. Game of the week, Sportsnet game of the week, BD Sports game of the week. I'll put it right now.
Listen, honestly, moral of the story, for me and Dave at least, it really is anywhere but Montreal, if we're being totally honest, because
please.
and I don't hate Montreal. I really don't like hate any team. Like, okay, maybe Boston. But Boston's the one exception, I gotta say. But Bedard would put them like over the top. That core would be, listen, Dave, they'd have Bedard and Joshua Roy. Not allowed. Not allowed.
No
like,
shot. No shot.
NHL must
I'd
interfere.
cry.
Edmund must
I'd
interfere.
cry.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
please no. Dude, they've been crying out for a center for how long now?
That's
and
such
then they're
a
gonna
old
get
narrative too. Yeah.
and they're gonna get like, let's say they do win it, they're gonna get
CP,
potentially.
Bedard.
Oh my god! Yeah,
Kirby Doc 3C. Oh,
Kirby Doc.
I could see him wearing like the Montreal jersey. I can envision it
Stop right now,
already.
Brian.
Don't say it.
Stop right now, my friend. You don't.
But
Listen, hey,
No.
how about the Blues, guys? How about the Blues? We'll send them to the
but
Blues.
what
Okay?
I can 1,000% say is he looks really ugly in orange, especially Philadelphia orange.
100%.
So you can't see.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
I was gonna
Same
say
Philly.
Anaheim Ducks
Yeah.
orange.
Yeah, no. Anaheim Ducks orange can't be orange. Has to be
That's
like,
an
plants
Anaheim
and
Ducks
some
brown.
teal. Yeah, no. Bedard is the antithesis to those Ducks jerseys, and yeah, I think we can wrap up the Bedard thoughts there.
Yeah.
I know Dave has. I know we talked about Josh.
Before we
Dave,
go,
go ahead.
Before we go,
Yeah.
I saw a TikTok before we started this thing. It was just shitting on the states. So it was like, USA, what happened? And then all the comments were like, it was like, Timmy's over Duncan's, go Canada, rah. Then there was it's spelled color with a, or it's like color and honor, both spelled with a U, rah. There was
Z not Z.
Z not Z was on there. There was Celsius is better than Fahrenheit.
I have one that
metric over imperial.
I have an underrated one that I will admit 1,000% America has got it wrong with this. Okay, so
yeah,
it's check, not check as in check mark, as in like bank check.
A Q.
In the States it's CHECK, like check as in check mark, but in
Canada
CHEQE.
So you're getting a paycheck, but it's check like the Nike check. Yeah. Or you're getting a check like Canada does it.
You got it. You nailed it. I love the great
then there's another one I don't get is miles and kilometers. How are miles 1.624?
Yeah.
624. Dude, make it one. Make it a whole number. I don't get like, why are we changing up? It's like, it's 5 miles away. Or you could just say it's 10 kilometers. Like 10 kilometers exactly. Miles are a guesstimate. Whatever. Sorry.
Shaking my head at the US.
All right.
Brian, I don't know if you've ever have you ever told people on the pod why you cheer for the US or why you cheer for the Caps? Have you ever done that? If it's going to take too long, we'll do it another episode. But
we could do a Brian origin story.
I was born in Toronto by two parents. Anyway, well, we'll get into another time because we're already 45 minutes in.
I'm gonna go into it.
No, we'll get into another time.
I was deep into my screen, man. That's okay. we'll say it's a little teaser for next time.
45 minutes in. We're gonna hard transition to the Winter Classic. Boston, Pittsburgh, NBC's favorite fake rivalry besides the Washington-Chicago one, in Fenway Park. What do you guys think?
Great.
Just great. Just okay. That's it, guys. See you guys next time. No, sure. Okay. So game aside, like hockey aside, yeah, it was pretty good. Like I watched most of it. I give it like a 9 out of 10. It was a really good presentation, and like Fenway Park is just
Gorgeous.
just an immaculate setting for that. Like the Green Monster. Oh, that was awesome to see. Just visually. Like I said, the hockey game, it was pretty boring if we're gonna be honest. Most of the Winter Classics are. There is those special ones that are just like it's like wow. That's why we hold these for the off chance that we get one of those incredible games. Jerseys, like let's revisit this because I know we talked about them when they first got revealed. The Boston unis were really nice. The beige gloves were a good touch as well. Those Pittsburgh ones, I honestly, they would have been so much better if they just wore black helmets. They went with the yellow helmets, and that it threw it totally out of whack for me. The balance of yellow and black. No, you screwed it with that, Pittsburgh. So I'm a little mad with the Penguins there, and the team with the better jerseys won the game. So
Better team won.
Yeah. 100%.
yes, yeah. You guys have any thoughts about like the pregame stuff, like just with the Reds? I mean, I was about to say the Red Sox. How the Bruins showed up to the arena. What'd you guys think about that?
I liked it.
I love that.
Yeah.
Cute little
I'll
nod.
be honest with you. I'll be honest with you. The Bruins, as much as their jerseys, like I wasn't feeling them when they first got released, but then
They're so
watching
nice,
them on the
yes.
ice, they're very, very nice.
Full
But
kits are nice.
they missed the mark by not making Red Sox inspired jerseys. If they had done like just throwing a little bit of red there, I don't know how. This is just like my mind. Like if you're playing at Fenway,
yeah,
like just change it up a little bit because like as nice as those jerseys were, they were Boston Bruins jerseys, right? Like they were like you could have saw those coming. I could have saw those coming. I could have guesstimated that last year when they got awarded the jerseys. Oh, sorry, the game. Just change it up here and there. I bet you, like whatever they had done, even if it doesn't look as good, like maybe if it's like cool concept, maybe not as good design, I would give them more marks for it just because they tried something new. It's like the Bruins have like not changed their jersey or their logo ever, right? Just throw shit at the wall, like see what sticks.
My favorite Bruins jersey was one that I think they wore it at a different Winter Classic. It was the one where it's just the B. So they took the circle off of the logo and it's just the B. It's really nice, really sharp jersey, and I think it's like no, it's white primary, black and yellow as the accents. But you know what? It might not be black. It might be like this really really dark brown. Like it's not like that just poo brown. It's like a dark chocolate brown. It's really nice. So those are my favorite Bruins jerseys.
Didn't they also wear those like the black version of that for like as their alternates a long time as well? Yeah.
So I really like the Bruins logo without the circular stuff going on. Just the B is really nice. To that idea about the Red Sox inspired jerseys, imagine if they just did like instead of having it say Red Sox, it says Bruins, but in the same like the Red Sox font. Right?
Exactly.
I'd be all over that.
And
that would have been really nice.
The
nice.
Bruins have a logo where it's the baseball with the B in like the B thing. That's I believe their shoulder patch, or maybe it's an alternate thing. Maybe it's
what if
just
they did that with a puck, bro?
Or anything else. Like just change it up. But
I wonder if there's there's probably like some legal reasons that
probably.
They might, like
100%.
Who knows? They probably didn't want to. Like we're probably giving too much credit to the NHL by even saying that they maybe thought about this. But like it would probably be hard to nail. But it would have been so cool. You're right.
Some inspiration, right? But like, listen, here's the thing: the Red Sox and the Bruins in both of their sports are two of the biggest markets in their respective sports, right?
They occupy the same role in their league too.
Yeah,
like, they are the bully team, like
bastards. I hate them. I hate like oh my god. As a Jays fan, I absolutely despise the Red Sox. I despise them as much as I despise the Yankees more, but I despise the Red Sox.
Yes.
Different
Yes.
thing. But I think 100%, like if the NHL went to the MLB, if there was actually some legal reasons there, I would imagine that the NHL would just be like, listen, this is what the Bruins mean to the NHL. This is what the Red Sox mean to the MLB. Like, there's got to be some cross collaboration.
It would have been mutually beneficial, if I could
exactly
speak
100%.
Mutually beneficial
You literally
sure.
can't lose that.
No.
Like that.
No.
Or in my mind, you can't lose it. This is my small mind.
And
I'm
I don't
not
think
a
any
marketer,
city,
designer.
Yeah, like, if there's any city like collaborate between their teams more than Boston, like I feel like even the actual staff, like remember when Cassidy got fired and like the first thing Belichick said at his next conference is like, really sorry about what I heard about Cassidy that he got fired.
Yeah.
Like,
I remember that.
They're so close. All of the organizations in Boston, they definitely. Oh, Dave, that's a good take, man. They should have done that. Oh,
it's like all and it's like because all the sports that they all the sporting franchises that they have are so well supported, and it's like if you're a fan of one sport, they're most likely a fan of all the others. Like there's no like everybody loves those teams. Like it feels like equally, and like that's all they care about is all their teams.
There's no Brian in Boston, right? Here in Toronto, we have a conglomerate of people that they like
cheer for other teams.
Right? Yeah. If you're in Boston, you're telling me you're not a fan of the four teams in Boston? No chance. There's no Leafs fans in Boston. There's no anyone but Bruins, Celtics, Patriots, and Red Sox fans. That's all.
Yeah,
that's all you gotta say.
One more thing I just want to bring up about that, about Boston specifically, all their teams are legacy. Like
like they're important franchises.
History.
Yeah. The only one that actually wasn't was the Patriots. The Patriots were god awful until 2000. And then they won 6 championships with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. Like, please, like, I want that. Oh my god!
I know.
Oh my god!
It's gonna be so good when we play the Bruins in the playoffs in the second round. Oh dear God!
Oh,
okay,
my god.
Just a little bit of a segue here from this Winter Classic. Let's talk a little bit about next year's Winter Classic. Like, do we have any thoughts on that matchup? Seattle, Vegas.
I like it.
I do too. And it's going to be played in T-Mobile Park, right? Like it's played in another baseball stadium, so settings should be real nice. Safeco, yeah,
like whatever. T-Mobile Park, Safeco. I'll call it Safeco Field until love that park is so beautiful. Like
Jays fans, historically, we take over that place.
There's going to be a lot of Canadians
about
going
this
down
past season. Yes,
100%.
No,
I will bet any money that that's a real great pick for the NHL because it's. Like, yes, they have the Seattle community, the Vegas community, but you also will get a good portion of the provinces just above the state of Washington there to come down 100%. Like, great pick. I would have liked to have seen Reno, Nevada maybe hosted or something like that.
I mean, listen, like the NHL is done like we forget the NHL has been to some they did what's the 49ers?
Is that at Levi's?
Still Levi?
Yeah.
They did a game there. I think they did multiple. Remember when they used to do a stadium series between not 2 teams, they did 3 teams. They did multiple games. They did Anaheim, LA, and San Jose, I'm pretty sure. Like they did the California stuff, right? So like I know we're joking about Nevada. They could have maybe done it.
They could. Is Lake Tahoe not in Nevada? Didn't they do?
So I think the problem there was the reason they did it during the bubble season is because they couldn't figure out how to get seating for fans. Like I think because it's like in a national park or whatever. Like there's lots of regulations on what you can do for events, and just the logistics of it didn't work. And that's why they did during the bubble season. It gave them the unique opportunity to have it there because they didn't need to have seating. So that's what was up there. On the jersey front, like Seattle has to be rocking a Metropolitan jersey because I was very confused why we didn't get that as a reverse retro.
We still haven't got that, yeah.
But now it makes sense looking back why we didn't get a Metropolitan jersey as a reverse retro. Held it off. They're saving it. And if it's not, oh my god, I'm gonna riot. I don't know what the hell they're gonna do.
That's a mischance if they don't.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell Vegas is going to do.
I
But
want
honestly,
I want
they've been
Vegas.
pretty good.
I want Vegas to go full medieval, like just knight logo,
Yo.
a gold knight on their thing, with a couple of swords going through, like
Dude, honestly,
whatever it is,
yeah, no,
it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be sick.
so some teams, specifically Nashville and Dallas, they brought us whole new logos at the Winter Classic, and not many teams have done that.
We
A lot
did
of
it.
teams it's throwback stuff,
We did it twice.
right? And thank you, because those are good logos,
One of them's
right?
good.
The W is
That
really
the
nice.
red one that you have, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
have
the
that one.
maroon jersey from
So
2015
nice.
against Chicago, really nice. So honestly, if it's not Metropolitans, and especially on the Vegas front,
New
give
logo.
us a new logo, man.
Just give us
I would
something
love
different.
it. I would love it because
And
Nashville
yeah,
against Dallas. So they butchered the actual main logo on the jersey because it said Nashville Predators. It looked like it was like a Tim's, like it looked like the Tim's font. That's what it
That was
looked like.
brutal.
they were,
No, I
they were
agree.
all ice caps.
Dude, right? Yeah, the Nashville Ice Caps. Those that typography sucked, but their shoulder patch logo was perfect. It should be their main logo. It's a dark blue saber-tooth tiger with yellow outline. So nice. So yeah, I think that's all we got to say on that Winter Classic front. Brian, do you have anything to add there?
I like Winter Classic games. I think that like outdoor games as a whole, gorgeous. Some of my favorite
Yeah,
memories before 2018 were actually the Winter Classic moments, right? Just because
yeah.
like it's just pretty.
I think if you're one of the boomers that are like, oh, there's too many of these, oh, they're not special. You're missing
It's
the
like
point.
one
It's
a
not
year.
for
Yeah.
it's the TV is the afterthought. It is for it's for the local market.
Fans in attendance,
right?
It's for fans
It's
in
like a
attendance.
draft. Yeah, it's like the draft, the All-Star game. There are rewards for organizations who have fans turn up, all this stuff. Like it's just one of those, right? So
I think there's a legitimate argument against the All-Star game not being good. It's not good for TV. Like the NHL has
Brutal.
always missed the
Yeah.
mark
Yep.
for All-Star games. And I get it, like you could say like, okay, yeah, it's for the local fans, but if you look at the NBA, they do it 150,000 times better than the NHL does, unfortunately. So the NHL consistently misses the mark with that. But I would say even for the draft, yeah, 100%, it is for the market that you're in. And especially next year where we're going to get, I was very surprised we already like we didn't see next year's matchup this year. Maybe logistically, like they already had them. I bet you they already have them planned and like the dates set years prior. But I thought maybe this year would have been the Seattle Vegas Winter Classic. But I'm glad that they're gonna do it next year.
that's probably why they went
what?
with the safe option this year. Probably it didn't work, like you said, right? Like they
Yeah,
needed a little bit more
logistically, yeah,
time. Let's just do
100%.
the safe bet. Put the Bruins and the Penguins out. No one's going
Call
to be
it a
mad
day.
at that.
I also like
Exactly.
the idea of you know, everybody knows I hate the NBC rivalry night Wednesdays, right? But with this, you can
Well,
spark.
it wasn't on NBC, by the way.
No, but
I'm
like
pretty
you know what
sure.
I mean.
Just,
Like
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
like fake rivalries, right? Where I'm going with this.
NBC's
But,
gone. What am I saying?
but
Yeah.
like I like the idea of sparking this rivalry.
Yeah, I
in a
like-
sense, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
sparking
just-
the two new
it's just-
teams.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it's a great
two
idea.
new expansion teams. It's simple. Like I don't really have a complaint about that. Do you feel that Vancouver was snubbed though? Like, do
No.
you feel it should have been Seattle Vancouver or
No.
no?
I like
That's
What
the
if they got
geographical
Bedard?
rivalry, right?
Yes.
Oh, see, that's now you see.
If they got
get
Bedard,
then they
dude, that
got
would have
snubbed.
been
Yeah,
that could have been a
yeah.
thing. But maybe that's going to tell us right now that Vancouver's not getting Bedard.
There you go.
or
Come
maybe
full
they have
circle.
to sacrifice the Winter Classic to get Bedard, right?
Oh, maybe.
Well,
You gotta
We'll
give or
find
take,
those
right?
soon, man.
But,
give and get.
find those
Yeah,
soon.
give and take.
But I like if you look at like Seattle as a team, even Vegas as a team, like they each have their specific rivalries. Vegas, San Jose, Seattle with Vancouver. But why not just throw them at each other? Why not let the dogs fight, right? Let the two new teams go at it. And if you
I
can,
think the fans will get really into it.
yeah, I can see that too. And they're in the same division.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
it's something there, right? It's definitely a start of something new, which is pretty good. And anyway, stay on Winter Classic or outdoor games. We have a outdoor game ourselves in February. It's against Carolina. It's I don't know which stadium is it in.
What?
Yeah, it's like the
Yeah,
most,
I had no
man.
idea.
yeah.
I wonder
What
if
the
is it the Panthers field? No,
I have
I'd be
no idea.
surprised.
It's I
That's
have it
like
here.
M.
It's
You want me to look it up?
Their
Carter
name is
Finley Stadium,
RII.
North Carolina
Oh no.
State's like football stadium.
Oh,
That's a
UNC.
good
That's
venue, man.
nice.
That's a good venue.
Damn. What's
How
it
many
called?
seats?
William Finley?
Um,
Carter Finley, I think you said.
Carter
Carter
Finley.
Finley, yeah.
Okay.
But
I'm gonna look up how many seats that is because that might be a huge arena, to be honest.
Dude, I will guarantee you minimum 65,000 people fit in there.
Dude, if they fill that this might
That'd
be
be
a
crazy.
classic game, man.
yes,
This
it's.
might be one. Okay.
But where I was going with this is
57,000 boys. Wow.
they could do it. They could fill
It's
it.
gonna be sold out.
They
I
definitely
honestly,
could.
I think it will. All of a sudden, I'm more excited for this than over the Classic.
He-
Okay.
The Caniacs are crazy. I can't
This
lie.
is
Ah.
a huge rivalry, by the way, guys. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And every
I
single.
think it's more. Do you think it's more Canes than Caps? Like,
I don't know.
I think, yeah.
I
I think the
right?
Canes probably care about it more.
Yes.
You guys are
Yes,
just
yes.
too focused on the Pens, right?
Yeah. Well, Pens and
Historically
Rangers, but
speaking, the Rangers, the whole division hates you, basically, Brian. That's
but
it.
this
Okay.
this is a rivalry night. Like this is a real rivalry.
Yeah.
This is bad blood.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
outdoor, in front of around 60K people, like you said, right? This is something I'm excited for. And one more thing, I just want to rub it in to everybody out there. 3-0 in outdoor games. Never dropped a point in outdoor games.
Damn it.
Does that
We
also
were-
count the yeah, that counts
I guess
us,
you guys,
right?
Because you guys were the third.
Damn it.
Yeah.
We were 2-0, like 2014 Winter Classic, and then the Centennial Classic.
Centennial.
We won those. And then
And then we laid the biggest goose egg.
made the biggest crap against you guys in the Stadium Series jerseys, which could have been so nice, but the memory's tainted because we lost. And who the hell cares about the freaking Heritage Classic last year? That was so bad for Leafs. Dunked on by the Sabres. Matthews gets suspended.
Oh yeah.
didn't even know
I
that
know.
game.
I know. I'm telling you, Dave. Like everyone forgot about it. The jerseys were bad. Now we're two.
Those were the Aretna jerseys, right? The black
the
ones.
retinas, but like
They're not like
they did
those.
not. They
So-
did not pull those off.
So this is us looking for 4-0, and we'll see if we
Nice.
get it in outdoor games. And then after
Have,
that, I don't want, huh?
Have the Canes played outdoor yet?
No,
They haven't.
First one.
Wow.
Interesting.
Canes jerseys are going to be interesting to see because Caps we have a little bit of a
Give us
tidbit of
Hartford.
knowledge. They're giving us the Weagle for the Caps, right, Brian?
Yep,
The
yes, they
Weagle.
are. Yes, they are.
I don't know if we're gonna get Hartford, Dave. I think that would be sick, and Brian would be happy with that too if it was the whale. Hey, Brian, right? But I don't know. I'm curious. I'll be paying attention to see what goes on. Brian, I think you're trying to make a little bit of a segue there. So
Yeah.
sorry for yeah.
Speaking of the Caps, we're looking for 4-0, but another Caps player that unfortunately, well, he's a former Caps player that was unfortunately waived. Jake Verana, extremely talented player. I know we're like the energy was so high talking about Winter Classics stuff like that. Now we're going down to this. Sorry, boys, but he was waived. Steve Yzerman pulled a nice Sicilian defense chess play on the rest of the league. He clears.
A what?
Sicilian defense chess play. Do you play
Is
chess?
that a move in chess? No,
Yes.
I don't.
Yes, it is. It's a defense you set up for your pieces. Anyway, we're not getting into chess.
You go, hey, what are you doing? Is that a Sicilian defense?
Anyway.
I want to laugh, Dave. Trust me, but like I'm just gonna have a coughing fit, so I'm holding it back.
Sorry, dude.
the rest of the league doesn't claim him. He clears. What do you
Yeah.
guys think?
Confusing stuff. Like, but I think we have it sorted out. But just the instant reaction when you see Freach tweet Verana on waivers 2 days ago, it's like, excuse me, come again. There must be another Jacob Verana that we are not aware of. Because that happens every once in a while. Like, did you see like earlier in the season when Dallas signed a goalie named Matt Murray? I was like, to be a bio Matt Murray, like yeah. So like it happens. This is not one of those situations though. It is the one and only Jacob Verana. And we understand the context behind this. Just he entered the player assistance program at the beginning of the season, and he just recently came out of it. He's played, I think, a handful of games for the Grand Rapid Griffins. I think he's got like a couple points in them. So it's just looking at that, it's confusing. Why is this guy being waived? And I guess the context here is I just mean like Brian said with his Sicilian whatever the heck like he caught the league in a bluff, right? Like you look at teams, there's not many teams with cap space, and Eiserman was confident that the teams that did have cap space were not going to pull the trigger and claim Verona and his 5.25 million cap hit for this year and next year, which is like that's a hefty cap hit to take in. But like Verona is worth that cap hit. Um, Assuming he is the player that he's been for Detroit, he's nearly point per game in the roughly 40 games that he's played for them.
There's only one player with better numbers than him 5-on-5 in the past 3 seasons.
It's Matthews.
Yeah. Well, goals.
That guy's kind of good. Yeah. Okay.
Goals,
Yeah.
yeah,
so
goals per.
But
It's
like
goals
that's
per
per
60
5-on-5,
month, right?
probably.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, goals per
So
60 at 5-on-5.
so listen, like Verona is the talent is not a question here. It's simply it's a very strategic move by Eiserman
It's not hockey
to
related. This
yeah, and
this thing.
honestly, it sounds like maybe Verona was like totally like this might have been in this decision might have been made in cohesion with Verona. Like it sounds like he wants a little bit more time in the A to get back up to speed. Whether it's just like he's not ready for the NHL mentally, or like, but it wasn't. This wasn't just like, oh, we got no space for you. We got to waive you. It sounds like it was much more of a collaborative move there. Just when looking on Cap Friendly, and I was trying to be like, okay, is there a team that should have made this move? The one that I circled out, I like I know just from a
Yeah.
purely cap space perspective, but I'm like, is there a team who's in the hunt that is already looking for a winger? Like they're already in the rumor mill to be looking at offense and have the space. And when I was looking, I saw Minnesota. They could absorb his full cap hit, and they've been looking to replace offense since having to ship off Fiala. So just from a quick glance, I saw Minnesota as a team. Now I also wonder though if honestly maybe a lot of the league was like, listen, we don't want to touch this just because we understand what he's going through. It's not a good move. It wouldn't be good for Verona mentally maybe to get traded to another team. That's a whole ordeal in itself. So it just sounds like a whole league round scenario that everyone just kind of decided this is best for Verona.
The the exit interview, well, not exit interview, the entry interview he had with Detroit after getting traded from us. You guys should watch it. I've never seen a player look so broken. Like he literally looked like he's been through it, and it was during the COVID year or a little bit after. He just got his vaccine, and he just didn't look good. I don't know what was up with him, and looking at it like that, it kind of makes sense why we had to overpay to get him off our team for a second. And Vrana for Mantha. That was a trade or something along the lines of that. But I don't know. I just wish him the best. And honestly, a part of me thought that, okay, maybe we should put in a claim. Maybe we should do something at least or trade for him now that he's down. But I feel like Eiserman really, really played his hand right and is going to give him the right time to shine in with the Griffins. And at the end of the day, it's probably not hockey related because his numbers are there.
Yeah.
And coming out of that assistance program, fingers crossed that it worked. Fingers crossed that things work out for him. But I don't know, man. Like, we're probably never going to hear about it.
Potentially.
Yeah. I know I think there was a post I don't know if it was on Instagram or something, but like Verona is apparently doing a community skate later in January. It's like it's not even a Red Wings thing; it's a Grand Rapids Griffins thing, and he volunteered as the player. He's basically just going to be skating at an outdoor rink, and fans are welcome to be there. Like he's going to be active in the community. So yeah, there's a chance we might not hear anything else on this issue, and there's a chance that maybe we do in the future. Honestly, it hopefully like it does look like it's going to all sort itself out, and he could eventually make his way back to the NHL.
In the
but
event,
for the time being, we're kind of in the dark. Yeah.
In the event that it's a situation where it's done and the Red Wings end up buying him out or his contract expires while he's in Grand Rapids, I'd rather we just give him entry level deal or just trade for him or something. Just bring him back, because when he was with us, he looked happy. He looked good, right? And this is the first time that like my team has seen a player in a situation like this, right? And a part of me thinks that, okay, well, not even NHL wise, just career wise and as a person, maybe he was just happier here, right? You guys gotta watch that interview, like the Detroit interview, for a greater context of the situation. But man, looking back, I don't know. It's very interesting, the situation we have.
He won the cup with you guys, right? Yeah.
Yes, that was his rookie season,
Yeah.
and he was a big part of that.
Hopefully this is like sorry, Brian. Like hopefully this is like the rock bottom of his NHL, actually in his personal life. Like this is
Yeah.
the he's completely bottomed out, and now the only way to go
Is up.
forward from here is like up, right? Because 100% the talent's there. That's a player who should be in a on NHL lineup every single night, potentially scoring at paces like Austin Matthews or like even like a Tage Thompson right now. Like, those are like the same paces
numbers add
that he
up.
should
Yeah.
be on. That's right. That's so it's like imagine taking out a player like for all intents and purposes like Austin Matthews off your team. That's the type of production that he's got going for him, right? So 100% we wish him the best, and we just whatever ailments, whatever he's going through, 100% it looks like it's starting to sort itself out, but until it's like fully sorted out for him, and that's like the only way for that to happen, like the only way we could see that is for time to heal all the wounds, for time to pass, and for him to get an opportunity again to show his talents, basically, right?
Yeah, and I'm sure the opportunity will be there. But
100%.
segue into something
It should,
else.
at least.
Yeah. But segue into something else. We have 20 minutes left, or around 20 minutes. Trade deadline's coming up soon. Frank Saravelli listed out top trade deadline targets. I don't have the list with me. I know Cristian does. Cristian, read out the targets and give us your thoughts, boys.
It is 25 deep. So
Do like
it's on Daily Face Off. If you want to check it out. But like we're gonna highlight some of a lot of the names you guys probably know, like Kane, Horvat, Taze, Timo Meyer, Eric Carlson's on there. I think he might be top 10, which a little bit of a surprise to me, like that he's that high. But the big headliner in terms of a new addition to the board is Matthias Ekholm, Nashville Predators defenseman, who I think like might have been
Stud.
last year or 2 years ago signed an extension. Nashville's in a really weird spot where they have pieces that they very recently signed to new deals and are now contemplating moving off of them. Like I said, Ekholm. Granlund is a guy who got a new deal recently. Philip Forsberg just signed an 8x8. I think it was something to that effect last year. Like they're in a weird spot. What's your guys' thoughts on Ekholm as a player, and where could we see him go? But like, are you surprised to see him on this board?
Given Nashville's situation, I'm not surprised to see him on the board. But man, he's a good player. But the thing is, like, you're right. They have pieces that can contend. They can have pieces that can contend for the cup. Ekholm, Forsberg, Ryan Johansson,
Yossi.
Shane, Yossi's big one too, right? I threw Ryan Johansson in there. I don't know if you guys heard, but
I don't know who that is. Never heard.
He definitely helps them contend 100%.
Yes, and I don't know, like they're not Minnesota mid, but they're a step lower than that. But we know they can be contending, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Which is
Listen, someone here might have chosen to be the best regular season team in the league this year. It's put it under freezing cold takes, but yeah, like I have the same. I'm in the same spot with like Vancouver, where I look at these two rosters. I really like a lot of the individual pieces on the roster, and for some reason, the sum is not greater than the parts. Like when you add it all up, it really isn't. If Matthias Ekholm is on this board, I feel a little bit more confident that like we could see somebody like Nino Niederreiter on the board eventually. So that's one thing. Matthias Ekholm would make a fantastic fit on quite literally any blue line. Just pulling up his details here. Like he's got 13 points in 36 games, playing 21
That's not
minutes
where
a
you're.
night.
That's
Yeah,
not what you're
it's
buying
not
him for, though.
exactly like this is a guy who is a stalwart defensively, great in transition, and any offense is gravy. And it's just nice to see that he is pitching it a little bit offensively. So he is signed 6.25 until 2026.
How old is he?
He is 32 right now. He's 32.
Oof.
So with that context, it makes it a little bit maybe easier to understand on the national side of things. And I also think that, it looks like I'm pretty sure Poyle is one of those guys that does not hand out trade protection to anybody. So yeah, now that I'm taking the context of the contract in, I feel like the fit has to be a team, maybe like a Buffalo. I could see maybe Buffalo. You could have him on the, you know what, at the same time though, Owen Power's a lefty as well. Like they have Darlene and Power. Do they maybe need another lefty?
I like the player.
I feel like it's a team. Yeah, I love the player too.
He could also play on the right as well, so he does
Okay.
have that ability. So maybe you play him on his offhand.
Okay.
I don't know how good he'd be on his offhand though. That's the problem because we do see players who play on their offhand and excel. So TJ Brody, for example. But then we've also seen, unfortunately, like a player like Rasmus Sandin, who's playing in his like second full year, who was thrown to the Wolves on his offhand and absolutely sunk like an anchor.
There was a specific game with remember when they
was that Pittsburgh?
I don't. It might have been. I just remember the pairing was Riley Sandin, and it was something that fans are like, at least try it, just try it.
Yeah,
he's like, fine, I'll try it.
We tried it, and it didn't work. Listen, it's not and it was just one game,
but it was the game was so bad that we're like, we're not touching that again this season.
So you said that Ekholm has 6.25. He's 32 years of age, left shot, transition D-man. Oh my goodness, what is Orlov gonna get?
I think he's in that echelon. Like somewhere around there. Like he's probably maybe 6. Probably slots in a little bit lower, but like in that range. You're right. I think Orlov's a little bit younger.
A little bit younger. Which makes it worse.
He's probably like 29. I mean, okay. So I think the point I'm trying to get to with Ekholm, like where the fit is, it's a young team that has oodles of cap space.
Which needs a little bit of
that can afford, maybe Ottawa.
I was just thinking Ottawa for some reason.
Yeah, but I feel like their left side again. That left side again is already set. They need Shabbat and Sanderson. I think, right? I know he can play the offhand, but ideally you want him on the left, right? Yeah.
I think 100%. If he gets traded to either Buffalo or Ottawa, he's kind of going to be forced into that situation where he has to play his offhand.
He might, yeah. I'm trying to think of teams off the top of my head that would make a more natural fit. It's not immediately coming to mind, but I feel like that's the fit.
What about young team? Even maybe like a Detroit I'm looking at. Like their D, Ben Sherratt. Like on the left, they got Ben Sherratt, Oli Mata, Jake Wallman. Their right side is where they're strong, right? Moritz Seider, Philip Hronik. Maybe, but they've only got like okay, I mean they've got $4 million in, they have like $4.5 million, almost $5 million in cap space right now currently. That's probably a little bit easier to swing, like 6. What is it? What's he at? 6.25.
6.25. They've also got a weird cap thing going on because they have like Fabry on LTIR, Bertuzzi I think is injured right now too. And they've always been rumored to be wanting to move Bertuzzi for the past 2 seasons. Like you said, it's an easy if they wanted to do it, they could. There you go. So like if they wanted to, they could. That's a good show, Dave. It kind of feels like where we were at when we got Muzzin, right? Kind of feels like that. And just kind of with a baked-in extension for Ekholm, whereas with Muzzin we had to give him his own deal. Ekholm comes baked in with the deal until 2026. Outside of Ekholm, you've got names like Duclair. Duclair is a name that before we hopped on the podcast, me and Brian.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. But before we get off Ekholm, I have a team.
Yeah.
Seattle.
Hit me. What's on Seattle's blue line right now? Alexiak,
Their left side is
Schultz.
Adam
Is that
Larsson,
done?
Alexiak,
done?
Carson Soucy. But where I was going with is that they have some cap. They have assets. They have a lot of assets. They have
Yeah.
so many picks, and you know what? They do need a little bit of veteran, a little bit of that like veteran push. You know what I mean? Just to get them over
If
the
I'm
edge.
Yeah,
if I'm
maybe.
Seattle this year, like I honestly, even if they still hang around at a playoff spot, because they've got so many assets, I'm honestly the type that I would just if they
Go.
happen to get in the playoffs, you get in. Honestly, I would sell off any UFAs and like I would just load the cupboards. Load the cupboards for next year when Beniers is in his sophomore season, Wright is playing full time. Like you could then make the push next year and have leftover assets after making deadline acquisitions. I feel like this is a year too early for them to make the
Yeah, yeah.
like the push it all in moves. But yeah, like I mean, any
like, at the
team
end of
for
the day,
Ekholm has to have like multiple seasons in mind here, right? It's not
Yep.
it's not a
yeah,
rental pickup.
it's not a UFA. At the end of the day, for Seattle especially, it's like, are you gonna roll into the playoffs with Philip Grubauer and Martin Jones as your tandem? Like, I know they've been playing well, I guess, even though I know Martin Jones is like 888, I think, or like
It's
890.
well relative to last year because last year was literally worst in the league by a mile. That's
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
Well, like,
my thing is just get in. You get in. You
yeah,
have
Yeah.
you have a couple.
Just
and
it
you
would
know
be
what's
good
gonna happen.
experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, like just good experience for a guy like Beniers.
And just one more thing. Going back to the Ekholm thing on Seattle. I'm kind of sold out myself to be honest now. If you have Ekholm on Seattle, the whole defense takes a big boost up in quality. Just like the veteran leadership, just in the sense that he knows how to play a proper defense. You can't, and when you have a good defense in front of a mediocre goalie, what happens? The goalie looks good.
It's a little bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
true.
They would have a
He's-
really balanced defense. Like they've
He's
got
also
some.
sorry. He's also the
Okay.
alternate. He's an alternate in Nashville, and I think he has been for a while. So if we're talking about
Oh yeah.
leadership there, like, okay, maybe like you're not trading for Roman Yossi, like who's the captain
Yeah.
of the thing, but I think like second best option there is to get a guy who's got the leadership experience. So some like on Seattle where, you know, they're younger. The guys on the team are also not like, none of them have really been those like leader guys. Like I know right now it's Eberle, Schwartz, Yanni Gord. Those are all their alternates. It's like, okay, but if you throw Ekholm in, oh, and Adam Larson, I forgot about him. If you throw Ekholm in there, like 100%, like that's another just great leadership guy, and maybe he transitions into more of that.
One
If he goes to
one more
Seattle.
one more thing about Seattle with Ekholm. Sorry, just I'm drawing the parallels.
Brian loves this, man.
I like this move. One more parallel I want to draw. Seattle, they obviously have a middling looking defense. Vegas 2018 had a middling looking offense. Vegas added one guy. They overpaid for him, but they added one guy, Thomas Tatar, and it completely revolutionized their offense and it kept them going for a bit. Obviously, it dried out later on, but it was that push, right? That last minute something just to get them going. This could be the move that does that. Defensively, obviously.
Do you guys remember what they paid for Tatar? Like
First, second,
it's
third.
Wasn't
absurd.
it first, second,
Yeah.
third?
Yeah.
Like dear Lord. Dear
My
Lord. And
God.
they were healthy scratching him in the playoffs.
They ended up healthy. Yeah,
they
they ended
doing
up
that.
like
Yeah,
that.
but he was good
Yeah.
for a bit,
Was
right?
that
Yeah,
first
it-
not was that first not turned
Suzuki.
into Nick Suzuki? Ooh,
Yeah.
my God.
No,
Suzuki
Suzuki
Pacioretty.
was the
Yeah.
Pacioretty trade.
Oh, Pacioretty. Okay.
Damn, who was that? I don't know what that first ended up becoming. That'd be interesting. We got to take a look at that. But Brian, I was actually going to make that parallel too, the Vegas parallel. To me, Seattle as a whole this season reminds me of
Vegas.
Yeah, but first year Vegas,
Yes.
right? Because first year Seattle was
Not
nothing,
good.
right?
Not
There's
good.
no thoughts on first year Seattle. Second year Seattle, they're making a little bit of noise. They have a very, very balanced lineup. Like they can just roll four lines and stuff might happen. It is curious that like they've been they're hovering around the playoffs. They're staying in it. How many times have you heard people mention, "Oh, the coaching staff in Seattle's great"? Never,
No,
never.
not once.
And who's the coaching? Who's the coach, guys?
Dave Haxtell.
Dave Hartstall. Yeah. So like, it's just a funny thing that I realized. Like when New Jersey catapulted up, it's Lindy Ruff he righted the ship here. So many young teams, you look at the coach and say, "Oh, they couldn't have done it without this guy." With Seattle, it's like, yeah, they're doing it, and it's not because of the coach. It's they got a decent team. Just a funny thing to note there.
Yeah. And it looks like it looks like they just need that little bit of a push to keep them going or get them going to that spot that they want to be in. But regardless, who's next on your list or Saravelli's list?
Sorry, but before we move on from Seattle, last point. It's going to be interesting to watch Seattle tonight as they head into town to take on the Maple Leafs. So we're going to get up close and personal with them tonight, Cristian.
Well, I'm gonna miss this game because I play for the Marlies, so I've got. I know.
That.
Yeah. But
you're gonna be like down the street.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
not that far down, but
I think my game's at 8:30. So maybe I'll get to catch like 5 minutes in the game before I leave. No, actually, probably not. Honestly,
you think they got any TVs down at the Coca-Cola Coliseum that
Probably
you can
watch?
Like...
I'd hope so. I could just throw it on the night on my phone or something. Yeah. Throw it on the bench. Imagine. But
Kyle, do this. See if he has any connections around there to throw it on like a TV or something.
Kyle, listen, I'm gonna call up for the Marlies tonight. I just want to hook up for the game. I just want to watch the game. Yeah, no. Seattle. It'll be interesting. I'll obviously keep tabs on what happens to that game, whether it's before mine or after the fact. I'll get all the updates from Dave and company after the fact. Moving from back home, you go to another Atlantic team. I don't know why I'm saying another Atlantic team. This is a tie. You go across the league to the Atlantic from the Pacific, other ocean. There's a team called the Florida Panthers who are in a bit of a cap bind. They've been in it basically since the season started, but because of their health situation, they didn't have to deal with any consequences until now. They're finally getting fully healthy, and Anthony Duclair is ready to come off of LTIR soon. They're in a bind. And they've got Cervalli's got Duclair on the board as the guy who might be gone as a result. What do we think about that? Like, is Florida making the right move here, shipping out the guy coming off of LTIR? Should they make room for him by trading someone else? I think like Patrick Hornqvist is still on this team. Is his contract maybe that immovable that they have to resort to moving the better piece? I think that might be what's going on here. Because like Duclair, when he's healthy, he's a speedster. He's a guy who can definitely chip in goals. Like, yeah, he's a mid-20s goal scorer, like 25 goals, 50 points. Like, but this is a guy who can go. He can fill in your top six, and he would be a fantastic if he's a third liner. But like, he can comfortably be a second line winger.
I like his contract a lot. I just pulled it up. He's $3 million for this year and next season.
That's really good.
That's a really good deal. And I don't know. Looks good on looks good on most teams' second line, third lines as a winger.
Mm-hmm.
You get value for the contract.
Another
money,
thing,
right?
dude, Keith Yandel buyout. Like that buyout, it's $5.3 million on the cap for Florida this year. Man, like listen, we could go listen, Sergei Bobrovsky's making 10 a year. That's a boat anchor of a contract regardless. But and was he not bought out by Philly as well? But because he signed, his contract was signed in with Florida, that's why they've got. Is that not how it works?
No, I think they bought him out, and then he might have signed as a free agent with Philly. I think that's what happened.
Maybe that's what it was.
That is a boat anchor, though. It's hilarious to me that Scott Darling's cap is also his dead cap is also a buyout penalty right now, 1.1 mil for this season.
I mean, man,
Hornqvist is on LTIR, so they can't. Trading Hornqvist isn't going to do anything. Yeah, they're in a bind. I guess like it would have to be Duclair unless you want to You're not trading for Hagee. I'm just looking at similar cap hits. The other similar cap hit is Bennett, but he's a center, and I probably take Bennett over Duclair. Um, yeah, that Yandel buyout is coming back to bite them. I wonder if the cap hit was lower last year and it was a necessary evil to make the moves they made last year, right? To fit Giroux, to fit Sherratt. That's probably why they had to bite the bullet here. I think they're kind of scooter guys. I think Duclair's going to actually have to go.
It's interesting because Carolina, obviously, sorry, not Carolina, Florida, they don't really have the best contract situation with Duclair and all the buyouts and stuff like that. But if you look at their contracts down the board, they have really good values there, right?
It really is like Dave said.
100%.
It's Bobrovsky. It's Bobrovsky. It
Bob,
really
like,
is.
Bob is like that 10 million, like double digits for Bobrovsky, and it's like another 4 years of that. Oh my lord above. It would be a lot better if he was at least like 905, but oh my god, like
And
just
I get it,
nowhere
Bobrovsky,
close.
not the best contract. Yes, Spencer Knight coming up too, fantastic goalie. But if you like, I can't stress this enough. Like Sam Bennett, 4.4. Carter Verhaeghe, 4.1. Colin White, 1.2. Like
Verhaeghe is a steal.
yeah, and it's just a value everywhere. But then the value gets taken away from all the other bad contracts and buyouts. And you know what? It sucks. Like you're seeing both ends. One managed very well, one managed awfully, and now I guess that the bad is overweighing the good. And Duclair probably will leave based on the situation we have, which is another
Looks
good
like.
contract off the book.
If Florida wasn't
Another
in the
thing-
Leafs division, that might have been a kind of an alright target. We might have to do what remember Mike Hoffman when
Yeah,
San Jose legend
Went-
Mike
for half a
Hoffman.
Yeah.
day.
Didn't he go to he went to
I
San
think-
Jose and then to
Florida. What's the Florida?
Florida.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it was Florida, right?
Yeah. Was it Florida?
Yeah, and Ottawa had him, and Ottawa didn't want to trade him to Florida because they're in the division.
Yeah.
So
They had to middleman that.
And then the
so
clause
we got to
in the
do
EK
it back to
contract-
Florida now. It's totally right.
The clause in the EK contract was one of the clauses was
Can't play with Mike Hoffman.
oh no that too, but it has something to do with when they sent EK to San Jose. One of the clauses was if EK ever plays for Atlantic Division within the next 2 years, San Jose would have to forfeit the next 2 or 3 first-round picks or something like that, on top of the bounty on top of it.
Yeah, don't worry, because he's not leaving.
He's not leaving, yeah.
anytime soon.
Okay, the other names here are pretty minor, honestly. Like I don't know if we have any crazy thoughts on someone like.
Sorry,
yeah,
just quickly.
Yeah.
And then another thing to also factor in as well is Spencer Knight's extension.
He's fantastic.
3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic extension. But that's that's another reason why Duclair is going to have to be shipped off as well, because now you're jumping his cap hit up from under $1 million to 4.5 over the next 3 years. And again, like the guys that are coming off the books after this year, like okay, Gudas at 2.5 is a lot, right? But then you got guys like Josh Mahura, Mark Stahl, Eric Stahl, Giovanni Smith, who's I believe up from the minors now. Like all those guys are making under $1 million. Like, you know what I mean? So how like a lot of that money is coming off the books, and it still doesn't even add up to Spencer Knight's extension. You know what I like that type of thing. So it's just like there's so many. The writing is almost like on the wall, I think, for Duclair, for as much as they don't like Bill Zito doesn't want to admit it. I think they kind of put themselves in that position where, you know,
They have like 15
it is what it is
for the next 3 years. It's ridiculous. And
yeah,
last year really was the all-in year. They're paying the price for it. Like we haven't even brought up the fact that Montreal's got their first rounder, right? Like their hands are tied. For better or worse, this team needs to make the playoffs, if only to save their asses. God forbid Montreal wins the lottery with that pick. I don't even want to. I shouldn't have even said that. Anyways, Barbashev is a guy who plays for this team here. If here's why I'm wearing a Blues hat, it's because like I said, I was at the Leafs Blues game. I don't know. I just halfway through the game, I'm like, well, damn it. If the Blues win, I have a Blues hat. might as well wear it once on the pod. Ivan Barbashev is a guy who plays for the Blues. He's a free agent at the end of the year. He's a guy who had a breakout year last year. He had like 60 points.
Yep.
Hasn't necessarily followed it up this year, but he's decently young. I want to say he's 25 or 26 years old. And I feel like he's a. I'm trying to envision right now. I feel like Dave. Tell me if I'm wrong. I feel like he passes the would Tampa make this trade smell test.
Oh,
That's kind of
10 times out of 10,
right. Yeah. So he's got. You know what? He only has 16 points in 38 games. But that's just the type of guy that Tampa says we can fix him, and then they do. Yeah, just a name to keep an eye on there. Because St. Louis. They're in the thick of it. They've been a really inconsistent team in every facet, offense, defense, goaltending. We've talked about many times before. Then you got a guy like Jake McCabe in Chicago, and this is a guy that Edmonton is apparently rumored to be in on. Just a steady defenseman. This is the type of deal you always see at the trade deadline. I could see it for Edmonton. I don't necessarily know if out of the steady defenseman options that are rumored to be out there, Gavrikov, Edmondson, and now McCabe. Give me Gavrikov all day out of those three. I just feel like he's got some physicality, and I don't know if he's more mobile, but like maybe it's because I've just seen him up close in that Columbus series.
Gavrikov's like stationary.
I like Gavrikov
based on what I've seen.
He's the type of guy that like he's a defensive defenseman who the metrics aren't bad on. Like it's not like it's not a guy where he's a boat anchor, right? He's not a Roman Polak or whatever. Like the guy, he actually defends well. He's not one of the defensemen that actually, that you look at them in their own zone and they're getting their ankles crossed and they're actually doing
where he's a defensive defenseman by proxy just because they can't clear the zone.
Yes, literally. Yeah, I'm a defensive defenseman because I always play in the defensive zone. Oh well, I think you're just bad, man. I think you're just
that's a big problem.
Yeah. So Gavrikov is not one of those. I don't know. McCabe might be the other option we're talking about here. And last guy on my list is kind of just a selfish take here is Teddy Bluger. So when the Leafs entered the offseason, I told this to Brian too. Brian, who was the one guy I wanted in the offseason from your team?
From the Capitals?
From the Capitals. He's not in the league this year. No. In the offseason, free agent, like a bottom six guy that you guys traded for halfway through the season. Swedish guy.
I don't remember.
I'm trying to give Brian everything. Johan Larsson, Brian.
Oh, Johan Larsson. Yeah. Okay.
Just a random guy. I'm just like, I went into the offseason. I'm like, okay, Leafs should just be deploying Operation Clone David Kampf. Okay, just give me a bunch of David Camps in the bottom six. So Johan Larsson was the guy I was like, that's a David Kampf right there. He ends up out of the league this year. He's not even there. But Teddy Bluger is another guy to me where he's just that's Pittsburgh's David Kampf. That's their Lars Eller, Brian. Like that's the guy. He's on the board because I guess Pittsburgh, they want to make moves, and Bluger's kind of in the Duclair spot where if they want to make any moves, he's the one that's got to go. I'm surprised to see him on the board because, as far as I could tell, he is a decent bottom sixer. Not that necessarily the Leafs need him because Pontus Holmberg is our Teddy Bluger. Just the name I wanted to throw out there just because I'm a Teddy Bluger fan for absolutely no reason. And that's the list. We'll see how it progresses over the year.
If Barbashev is under 2.73 mil, I'm interested. I think you can fix that.
Like you're saying, as an extension or as a
trade deadline acquisition.
Okay, yeah, like his cap it I think is like 2.2 or something. It's in the twos.
If
so
that's
he might be 2.5.
If that's the case, that's the guy I'm looking at bringing on, just as a middle six guy. Yeah.
Maybe not. Yeah, third line winger or third line center. Honestly, let's say Leafs hypothetically, like you could, I would throw him on the second line. It's no guarantee it would work there. But his track record tells you there's a chance it could. Yeah.
Well, and then you also surround him with like if he goes on the second line, like he's playing alongside JT and Marner in the.
He's the third most important guy, right? Like it's not like he's needs to carry the offense in any way there.
Yeah. Yeah, and you also like when you playing with talented players, chances are you're gonna succeed. Like if we're gonna look at a guy like Calle Yarncroke, who was spending most of his year so far on the third and fourth lines, and then he eventually got moved up to the second line. He was playing well on those other two lines in the bottom six, but then you go up to that second line, and he's got like what 6 goals and like was it 6 and 10? I think
He's got a gross shot, man. Yeah, it's something like that. Like
he's a talented player, right?
He's a finisher, man. He can finish it.
Exactly. So you put somebody like, and I think Ivan Barbashev, like 6 feet tall. I think he's like almost 190. Like, but it's like he might not be the biggest guy, but he's always like digging for the puck. He's a little workhorse. Like in the Blues game, like I noticed him quite a bit, like in the corner, digging for the puck. Like he's not useless off the puck, basically, right? Like he's a very good.
He's versatile.
There's genuinely good value there, though. How much can he realistically cost? A third-round pick? And I think he's on the brink of his prime. So I'm assuming he's 25, 26-ish.
He's going to be UFA this season. So, like, yeah, he's probably like he's one of those really young UFAs.
He is 27.
That's a prime guy. That's a prime guy that you sign. You get at the trade deadline, say it works out, and then you sign him to like a 4-year, $2 million contract.
That's right.
Like that.
I'm saying, man, like it passes the Tampa smell test, and for that reason alone, I'm interested.
Yes,
that's my benchmarker now.
He might realistically go to Tampa. Like he could
that's
be.
Don't just say that.
I really don't. Yeah,
no, but like you know what? I don't want to put it into existence,
but
though. Like
I'm kidding. Continue.
I did, but like. That could be, Nick Paul, Brandon Hagel, Blake Coleman, like go down the list.
Mark Gaudreau, Yanni Gord,
like
a whole family tree, man, of just Tampa Bay Lightning guys who just
asshole players.
Oh my god, asshole just players who put the puck in the net. Just the worst combo around.
Yeah,
so that's all I got on the trade board. I have a very not random. But Dave, like I said, I've been watching these Leaf games, and yet at the same time, I can barely recall half the details. So, do you have any Dryden Hunt takes? Because I have zero. I have zero.
So, he's unnoticeable for 95% of the game, but he'll draw a call here and there. So I'm not upset by his play. Like if you're unnoticeable and you're not making shitty mistakes to make me not notice you, I don't mind it. That's fine. Especially if you're playing on the fourth line, I think a problem that I had with Nak Abe-Kubel was he was unnoticeable and also drawing a lot of calls. Giving away a lot of calls as well, like taking a lot of calls. And there was one, I think it was in the offensive zone. It's like, dude, if you're in the offensive zone taking a call, dude, and you're on the fourth line, it's like, that's a nail in the head right there. You cannot be doing that.
He's gotten better, though. He's played a couple games for us now that Oshie was sitting out for a bit, and I can't.
Oh,
in a vacuum, I like the players. So I was like, what?
No.
I like Mac in a vacuum, so I'm happy for him, man.
I can't complain, but like he's not playing for us once the reinforcements come in.
Right? Yes, no. He'll be back on the waiver wire, and I don't think anyone's gonna pick him up again. To be honest,
who's he playing?
The Leaf thing is he's playing Zach Aston Reese and Pontus Holmberg.
Yeah. So both of them, you know what? I think on a line together, I think those three.
It's a decent fourth line.
Like it's not a bad fourth line. Yeah, that's the point I was gonna make. There was like it could be a lot worse, basically.
Yeah, come playoff time, I don't think Dryden Hunt is there. But if he can,
no. But
yeah, but as an extra, as a guy who Keith can potentially say, I trust this guy to play 7 to 8 minutes a night. That's always a decent option. I like with Connor Timmins. I like instantly had thoughts. I was like, this guy can move the puck. He makes a good first pass. He's really alert. Big guy, right-handed, decent shot. I got nothing on Dryden Hunt. I know he had the fight in the Arizona game, and like you said, he's drawn some calls, but just in terms of like plays I can recall of him with the puck, I think he had like a partial breakaway in the Blues game.
Yeah.
Like
He
that
did.
is the only thing
Who are
I
your
can
middle six
remember.
left wingers, right? As of right now.
You got Engvall and you've got Yarncrow. Actually, not Yarncrow. No, you got Kerfoot. Engvall, Kerfoot. David Kampf,
Yeah.
the Father Almighty in
You
the
put this in
middle.
our notes. Yeah, I'd rather upgrade left wing 2 and 3
Oh,
over
100%.
defense. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
At this point,
100%.
100%.
We talked about this a lot last episode, I think it was.
Yep.
And just, Frege acknowledged that the front office is at least reconsidering their original game plan of upgrading, not solely, but prioritizing defense, and maybe spreading the trade assets around maybe a forward and a defender. It is interesting that recently, since Riley's came back, the defense hasn't been as good. So it's something to pay attention to and could once again change the scenario. But just on the whole, we agree. Like the defense is decent. A name that Frege also brought up on last 32 Thoughts said that Nico Mikkola, another St. Louis Blue. Once again, I don't really have many takeaways from the game that I was at. It's tough to keep track of individual players at the game compared to at home. But Nico Mikkola is a guy that like he's my dream number 7D. But I mean, it's forward all the way because you can't necessarily count on Matthew Nyes to be that 2LW out of the NCAA. So that's where we're at there.
all right, boys, we're at an hour and 45 minutes. Do you guys have anything else to say? Anything else you want to bring up before we cut it, or no?
I know
shout out
really
to
didn't. Sorry.
Go Dave. No, go.
I know we really didn't talk about the Leaf game, but the only thing I really want to mention is that besides the defensive struggles, there's also been some goaltending struggles. Samsonov in particular, unfortunately, it looks like he's battling though. He still came out of that loss.
I didn't hate him in the
St. Louis
game. Yeah, I didn't hate him.
The only one I want to pin on, I would say should be pinned on him, is that first goal, I believe. He came out of
the shorthanded Marner.
Yeah, it was a shorthanded goal. Okay, like putting all that aside, I still think he's a competent, like he's a very, very good backup. I think personally Matt Murray is going to eventually take the reins for this team. I have more faith in Matt Murray than Samsonov at this point, unfortunately. But that's also not to slight Samsonov, and I think he will rebound and get his footing back. But it is worth noting that both of them haven't been in particularly that great recently, but Murray has kind of edged him. So and that also goes against the defense as well. Like they haven't looked that great. They've allowed a lot of like high danger chances that they weren't doing before. They had that stretch where it was like 2 or 3 games where they were like completely shutting the other teams. God. Like it was like
low
20 shots in like 3 games. So like that's crazy, especially, and one of them was against Tampa. Like crazy. But yeah, so that's the only thing I want to say. Do we know who's in net for tonight, Christian? Did they say anything?
I honestly, I don't know as of yet. I would assume Murray. I'd be surprised.
You know what, man? I think give Samsonov the game. Honestly,
give Murray the Saturday game.
I don't want to talk shit about a pretty good Seattle Kraken team, but they're not as dangerous. I know St. Louis was missing, Tarasenko and Ryan O'Reilly, and that sucked that the Leafs ended up losing that game, where Samsonov actually had better numbers than Jordan Binnington because he's still an ECHL.
That was funny. Yeah.
You're not gonna get off this train, are you?
Goaltending was optional.
No, he's not a fucking NHL goalie, Brian. He's not.
He might not be, but these numbers.
Just on
ECHL
time,
starter.
Just on time, my cousin just texted me to inform me not about the Leafs goalie, but the Seattle goalie is Mr. Martin Jones. So,
baby, here we go.
Oh,
Mr.
baby.
Mr. 808.
Yeah, Yeah, Mr. 305, Mr. 808, Martin
Mr.
Jones.
Mr. 503.
Oh
Oh
God.
my God.
Yeah. So.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. I mean, so when Samsonov is off his game, this is something me and Dave were talking about a couple days ago. When Samsonov is off his game, he's scrambly, he's swimming, he's all over the place. When Murray is off his game,
kind of loses his post, but like he
yes,
doesn't either. Like yeah,
it's
like
You can tell
it's
he's
not
his
as bad as
positional
Mrazek.
awareness is gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just kind of
It's not as bad.
just
Like we
moving
saw
everywhere,
this
man.
bad positional awareness in Peter Mrazek, who like legitimately like would not like is not able to find
Where's the net?
intersection.
Where's that place
Yeah,
that I'm supposed to defend?
yeah. That oh my God, whatever. But
Yeah.
that's besides the point. But
Dave, I was
Samsonov
just about
has
to
like
forget about Peter Mrazek. You just kept him in my
sorry.
mind for another 2 months.
I
man.
saw him. I saw him the other day.
Oh.
It was a bad highlight. Like this was like a misplay from him in Chicago, and I was like, "Oh man, thank God we
That's
moved
the
off
guy
of
I
him."
know. Good tank
Oh,
commander,
man.
though, eh? Really good tank commander for the Blackhawks.
Awesome,
Yeah.
leading the charge.
Yeah. So Samsonov swimmy when he's not when he's off his game, and Murray the opposite. This guy looks like his controller disconnected. That's how you can tell he's off his game when it looks like he forgot to move after being scored on. And yeah, like Murray, we've talked about this before. He's a positional goaltender. He relies on his size and anticipation of where the puck's going to go in order to make big saves. And when the defense is off its game, Murray can still be on his game and things can be all right. Whereas if Samsonov is off his game
The wheels are
and
off
the
car.
defense is off its game, it doesn't end up well, right? So that's been the difference maker between the two of them. Something going back to
Sorry, to Samsonov's credit though, against St. Louis especially, there was
Big
some
save.
defensive lapses and he did pull through, so I will commend him for that, where he's not completely out of it at all times. But yeah, 100% I'll agree with both of those statements you said about both goalies, but I'll commend Samsonov for
Samsonov had a big save in overtime, especially.
in OT, especially and at the end of the third, is like midway through the third where the game was tied, or maybe the Leafs were still down one before Matthews tied it. And he helped them get at least a point out of that game. Where for a second there, I thought that St. Louis was gonna start pulling away, and you know what? Credit to the Leafs for coming back, and credit to Samsonov for holding in there. And they picked up the point. So you can't be fully disappointed with that loss because you're gonna lose some eventually. But 100%.
And the shootout's a crapshoot. Like the shootout, I really didn't care. I was at the game, and I was just like, whatever happens, happens. I didn't even react when we lost. Like it is what it is. Any other Leaf points? Nylander continues to be hot as hell, man. He probably gets the All-Star nod, eh? Like from us.
He might.
I'll be excited for that. Like Willie Styles in Florida, he's going tarp off the whole time. That's confirmed. You know what I was gonna do? I was gonna shout out Jimmy Vesey on his 2-year contract extension. That's what I was gonna do. The guy only knows how to play decent hockey for the Rangers.
He got
dude, he got a 2-year extension. I think it's like $900K.
It's good value.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, listen, man.
Money.
We'll never forget about Jimmy Vesey, Mr. Vanilla. So. Just shout out to Jimmy Vesey and his 2-year extension. Look forward to all the goals he's going to score on the Leafs in the future.
One more thing, I just want to say before it goes off. It's happened before we started the pod. Samantha J. Powell, best tweet I've seen in years. Backstrom Wilson will most likely be coming back by next Saturday. That is music to my ears, and we'll end on a high there. Thank you for listening. Shout out to Fubo TV. Shout out to NHL Shop. Shout out to Razor. Check out our articles. Check out our TikToks.
Shout out to Dave.
Shout out to Dave. Get the phone app. Dave got to start posting TikTok and clips.
Yep. I've been off for the I took
Christmas,
my holiday
man.
mode.
Hey,
I think.
New Year.
Yes.
Now we're coming back. 2023 start. We're getting back into the swing of things.
Yes.
Big year. Big things.
All right. We're gonna
Again.
close it off here before it hits 1 hour and 55 minutes. That is everything. There's no washroom break this time, by the way.
Let's go. Let's go.
We are done in
First time in 15
Proud of you,
What?
episodes.
Proud of you, man.
Thanks.